this is part of the reason that we try to create this community of people who want to see the world perhaps a little differently than the way it is. And we can even see just through everything that happened today, there was the No Kings protest that was going on, how everyone is actually trying to make their dent in the world, make their voices heard. The world is, I mean, I don't think I've ever met a singular person that said the world is a perfect place. It inherently isn't. And Bhakti Yoga mentions and talks about in these ancient yoga literatures how the world will never be perfect in this current time and age, and in fact it will continue to get more imperfect and more annoying. There will continue to be more distractions in life. There will continue to be more wars and turmoil and issues that come up. And you don't have to think very deeply. In the past 20 years, you can think about how much has changed in the world and everything around us. So this practice of Bhakti Yoga is a manual of sorts on how can we live intentionally in a world that otherwise is pulling us in all different sorts of directions. So the very first question is, what is Bhakti Yoga? It's a conscious lifestyle of connection to all beings. We oftentimes hear about racism, sexism, discrimination. Bhakti Yoga takes it one level deeper, saying that these are all just different costumes we're wearing, but at the end of the day, we're all just spirit souls. We're all one and the same. We're part of the same entity. And I think this in itself is a huge thing, because if the world were to look at everybody as just a conscious living being, a lot of the issues we see in today's society wouldn't exist as we see them. It's not militant renunciation. And I really like this term, because militant renunciation is, oh, I'm not going to buy this, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to smell this nice thing, I'm not going to see this nice thing. We live in a world where our senses are constantly engaged, and we cannot practice militant renunciation. There used to be a time when yogis could go sit at the top of a mountain on a deer skin and sit up with their back straight and meditate for hundreds and thousands of years. But now is not the time. It's not possible to do so anymore. So Bhakti Yoga is a way of renunciation where actually you use your senses in service. You don't renounce them. It's recognizing that everything is connected to a divine source, and is purifying our intention through selfless actions for fulfillment. And that's the point that we'll really be focusing on today, is how can we find happiness through selfless action? And as we dive into that, I want to bring up this topic of what is worship? It's typically a very religious word. It can sometimes be seen as fanatic. But what is worship? I mean, the way I see it, everybody worships something. Would you agree? We have to worship something. Some people worship the divine. A mother may worship her baby. Some people worship Taylor Swift. I mean, it's a type of worship, isn't it? Some people worship their jobs. Worship is where your heart is. And wherever your heart is, whatever you worship, that is what you do something specific to. And I won't jump the gun, because I'm seeing that there's a little bit more I wanted to talk about before I get there. But I wanted to dive a little bit more into worship. I researched the etymology a little bit of where does the word worship come from. And it can be split up into worth and ship. And when you add ship to the end of the word, it becomes a noun. It has a different meaning to it, but you can see that when we break it up, it's very evident what it means. It's where are you putting worth? And in Sanskrit, there's a very similar word for this called shraddha. Shraddha means the heart, and dha means to bestow. So it translates to where are you putting your heart? Where are you putting your love? And I think by defining worship, it starts to become less religious and dogmatic, and it becomes a little bit more of a real application of the way we see the world, and the fact that we're inherently loving beings, and we will always love something or the other. And that brings me to the point. What you put your heart into, you do something. Does anybody have a guess on what you do? Where your heart is, cell phone is always searching for a signal. Sometimes it's a 4G signal, sometimes it's a 5G signal, sometimes it's stronger, sometimes it's weaker. We are also searching for a signal. And there are just so many signals out there in the world that it's easy to get connected to the wrong sources, the wrong towers. And what we have to do is we have to double click and open up advanced settings and tune a little bit what we connect into, what frequency we connect into. And Bhakti Yoga says that as the world continues, the amount of signals that are available for us to latch onto will increase, and it will keep increasing. And this task of latching onto the correct signal will become ever more difficult. It will become ever more challenging of a task. So, where does that bring us? I'll talk about a story. So there's a place called Naimisharanya, and it quite literally translates to the place where no one blinks. And you might be like, why does no one blink? So a long time ago, about 5,000 years ago, there's a forest that is called Naimisharanya, and there was a great spiritual gathering of world leaders. You can think of it like, the modern day UN, but 5,000 years ago, where yogis are meeting to discuss various important aspects of life. And they invited a storyteller or a prominent spiritual practitioner named Sutta Goswami. And he was known for remembering all the Vedas, all the wisdom from the Vedas, or the ancient yogic texts of India. And that's really important because if you try to trace back the science of yoga or the science of how to live happily, you can trace it all the way back to India, and it has its roots in Sanskrit texts. So this Sutta Goswami is known for, or was known for, being very well read in this literature. And the sages, there were about several thousands of them. These sages, they came up with a list of questions about the purpose of life, the essence of all the yoga teachings. And Sutta Goswami began to speak about the Bhagavad Purana, and that's essentially one of the most prominent Bhakti Yoga literatures. It's a volume of books. It's about wider than this, if you were to put it all together. It's a lot of books. But that goes to say about the depth of information that is written about yoga. And the sages had 7 questions, and one of the questions was as follows. O Sutta, you are completely freed from all vice, you are well versed in all the literatures and the Puranas, and you have explained them in detail. Therefore, please tell us, what is the ultimate good for all people? And what is the ultimate good, aka how to be happy? Because who's trying not to be happy? Hopefully everybody's trying to be happy. And the answer was, do service for service sake. It should be constant and continuous, just like one's heart beats and keeps you alive. You should go on practicing this mood of service, and you should not be asking for anything in return, but rather just giving service. And you might be like, okay, that's easy, aren't we always serving? We're always serving our boss, we're always serving family, we're always serving our friends, we're serving our senses to be happy. But Bhakti says there's more to it. It's not just about serving, but it asks the question of, what is your intention behind the service? And that is what differentiates your actions. And Bhakti Yoga is actually the process of refining intention. Every act, no matter how small, reflects our inner intention. By purifying our intentions, we transform daily actions into offerings, fostering fulfillment and spiritual growth in our daily lives. So there are 4 levels of motivation according to Bhakti. The first one is fear. It's a natural human instinct. At the end of the day, we are animals, and we have this instinct for survival. I want to stay alive. Hopefully everybody else wants to stay alive. It's out of fear that, if I don't do this, this will happen. If you are driving on the road, you'll see sometimes they use tactics of fear to make you buckle up. scared, and it's okay to be scared. But then Bhakti says that there's something else above that as well. Prospect, known as loba in Sanskrit. So prospect is like where you're getting something in return. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. You can go to any fine dining establishment and order the best meal, but if you don't pay them, they're not going to serve you. In fact, they might call the cops. Isn't it? And some might say, oh wow, the service here was so good, but is it really service? If it's not selfless? So the other is prospect. And this is what drives a lot of ambition, right? Whether you're in school, whether you're trying to climb the corporate ladder, there's usually something in it for you. Bigger car, bigger house. And then there's duty, dharma. Hopefully dharma is a common term that people are familiar with. It's this very high idea, you know, whenever you fly Alaska Airlines, United Airlines, you'll hear active duty personnel, military personnel can board the plane first, and you might say, thank you for your service. And that's where it starts to get interesting, because not always, but more often than not, the people who are serving in the military are doing it out of duty for their country. But there's even one more level higher than that, which is pure duty. You can imagine if there's a homeless guy on the side of the street and someone accidentally drops a diamond ring in their hands, and that homeless person's like, wait, I have your ring. Can you imagine the kinds of shock waves that would send throughout the universe? Like, it would be unheard of, right? That here I am, someone who really needs money, and I'm fulfilling my duty of being truthful and returning something that is yours. It's kind of rare to see in this world. But then finally, there's the fourth level of motivation, which Bhakti says is the highest, and that is love, prema, the selfless form of service. The mother and the child is typically given as the best representation, and the suffering that a mother goes through for 9 months, sometimes even longer, but the amount of love they give without reciprocation from a child who is constantly crying is the utmost standard of what it means to selflessly serve, and it's something that is most visible in the eyes of people on this planet. So the question becomes, is it always possible to serve with pure love, without any other motivations? And Bhakti says yes, and it's about adapting to a lifestyle that allows us to go beyond the interference of the world. Understanding the 4 levels of motivation enhances our intentions. By recognizing the highest motivation, selfless love, we can cultivate a deeper connection with our actions, leading to spiritual fulfillment and purpose. Bhakti further talks about these 3 modalities in the world. The world we see, it can be thought of like a paint palette, and these are the 3 things that make up the world we see. So there can be things in sattva. Sattva is goodness. It embodies clarity, harmony, a higher understanding that we are here for a short time in this world. I mean, our lives are a little dot on the map of the existence of this universe. It's this idea that allows us to connect to everything and everybody around us on a higher platform through a higher state of consciousness. Then there's rajas, or the mode of passion, that makes us attached to things which are not in our best interest all the time. It drives us through action and achievement, right? So again, this can be working towards a promotion, it can be working towards good grades, whatever it might be. But it also leads to attachment and distraction. And then finally, there's tamas. I couldn't think of a better way to say it than AKA the stupid zone, which is you don't really have any impetus to do the right thing. You know, you could be just fumbling your way down the Ave on UW's campus, and you just don't know what you're doing, and you're just in darkness, even though it does harm to oneself. that people who drink too much, they will commit activities which even they themselves would have never wanted to do. You know, we see it in the news all the time. This person stabbed this person or killed that person or walked into the middle of the road. Like, it's something that the more you do, to an extent, the stupider you get. It takes away your discriminatory abilities, which are our superpower as humans. Our intelligence is our superpower. That's the one thing that differentiates us from all the other living beings on this planet, is the fact that we have the ability to discriminate as humans. The other is to avoid unrestricted relationships with people. And the reason it says that is because we live in a world where it's very easy to become attached to other people. And there's very few places on earth where a marriage ceremony doesn't emphasize how it's for life, through sickness, through health, through all aspects of life. You will see historically in the way people lived, there was no idea of maintaining multiple relationships with people when you're already in a committed relationship. So Bhakti says that do not, or rather avoid, unrestricted relationships. One should eat a pure diet. One should get food to the best of their ability from non-violent sources as much as possible. And this is where the science of Ayurveda comes in, which I think is really interesting, because you will find bits and pieces of Bhakti Yoga philosophy and practice in today's yoga world, but rarely, I think, do you find it integrating together with a way of life. So this is where Ayurveda and sattvic cooking come in, because you're able to feed yourself things that which are spiritually nourishing, not just nourishing Kirtan. And then finally, Bhakti says to avoid gambling. It's this idea of trying to get something for nothing. But it's not possible in this world. Similar to how fire will always come with smoke, Bhakti says that you can't get something for nothing. When I was growing up, my dad would say that nothing is ever free in life. And Bhakti says the exact same thing. Nothing is ever free in life. You can't get it cheaply. Everything is there for a reason. So it says, just by these four things, it helps elevate your consciousness to a pure state of sattva or goodness, which then allow you to practice spirituality in a mood that is conducive. And the final Any questions, comments, reflections, concerns, objections? You object to happiness. One reflection, perhaps, if anybody has one. Yes.
Super thorough presentation. I loved it. I think you made a really good point at the beginning when you talked about how like the idea of being able to view everyone in the essence of like a soul, and like disregard all the other aspects of them is something that I think is honestly like a really important thing to do, but also probably very challenging because you see like so many different things going on and things changing, especially like person to person. So I think that's a super important point.
Definitely, and you're right, it's really hard, even in our day-to-day life, beyond the big ones of like racism or sexism, even my personal like experience would be I'm working with somebody and they do something rude, like I had someone take credit for something I did recently in work, and it's super easy to get upset and driven away, like what the heck is wrong, like get angry. But if we start to view them like a soul, we realize that they also have things happening in their life which are beyond their control, and they have conditionings of this world that apply to them. So it's hard. It's hard. Yeah.
I like what you said about service and how there are a lot of things that can motivate you to like do service, but it's not truly service if you're getting some sort of reward or you're doing out of fear or things like that. So I really like that.
Yeah, something I really like, an analogy I heard is, most would not object saying that charity is bad. Charity inherently, most would say it's good. Like, oh wow, you donated millions of dollars for this cause, or you did this or that. But we rarely actually see it tied to a higher purpose or tied to selfless service. I mean, the world is set up in a way where, because they know that most are driven by prospect, so you'll get a tax refund. Or if you're really rich, maybe you'll be thrown up on the news and be considered a good person. For most, it's actually a political move or a move that advances them in some way in their life. But perhaps for another talk, but Bhakti will talk about how can you selflessly serve and connect it to higher purpose and karma. Because, I mean, it's kind of like this idea, like if you see someone on the side of the street and you give them money and they use that money to go buy drugs, did you really do them good? So, yeah. Jasper.
I had something that popped into my head is that say you're able to give $1 million charity, and they in person maybe you go into this food bank and you give $1 million, but it's different to maybe give anonymously, to not want that recognition, to say just to let it go. So I feel like there's multiple levels to selflessness or service.
Definitely, you're right. And doing something anonymously takes a lot of courage, because the way we grow up in society is through credit. I did this, I got a 4.0, I got this job, I got this salary, I got this wife, I got this house, I got this car. And even to the extent of I got this coffin. Isn't it? And again, perhaps for another time or another talk, Bhakti talks about how can you even go further than anonymous? How can you connect it to the energies of the world or the divine source? How can you give more than just money, but give people something more? But I really liked your point. Yes. What's your name?
I'm Praday.
Sorry?
Praday?
Praday?
Yes. Nice to meet you. Yeah, it's my first time here. I'm a
Yes.
student at UW, so came with a couple of my roommates. But not too sure how relevant this question is, but in the airplane analogy that you were talking about, a lot of people can take different actions in the airplane, right? But just like in real life as well, are like actions that we are going to take already been decided based on our karmas? If that makes sense, like what I'm about to do next, has that already kind of been decided for me? And that action, like, has it kind of already been decided?
Yeah, that's a great question. So what Bhakti says is that everything that we are to experience in this world is decided based on karma, but we have free will, which is how we react to those circumstances. So that is actually within our circumstance. It can be like if you get into a car accident, you can if I would have left the house 5 minutes later, have you heard like the burnt toast theory? Like if you burn your toast, you may have avoided a car accident. Like you might lament like, why did this happen to me? Or you can be proactive, like, oh, I got into a car accident. What's next? Okay, I need to get to a hospital, right? So that decision making is your free will. You get to decide. Now, there's sciences in Bhakti Yoga which says that your karma can change, and there's a category of karma known as akarma, which means that you can actually burn through karma, meaning that you will no longer suffer, or rather get reactions based on your actions. And it's a whole other topic. They talked about it like credit card debt, where if you do good things, you may get more good things. But we've seen how people who get good things, such as a big house or a lot of money or whatnot, they get stuck in a different kind of situation, which gives them different problems. Or if you get stuck with bad things, an extreme case being homelessness, you're also stuck with a different set of problems. So Bhakti talks about how the goal is to burn through our karma such that we can live in a way that is karma free, and we don't have to experience the reactions from our actions. Yeah, but that's a really good question. Did that
Thank you
help?
so much. Yes, that was perfect. Yeah.
Yes.
I was just wondering, like, will it be possible to like do service in the highest level, which is love, without like first serving yourself? Like you cannot serve others, right? Do you think like is that like a prerequisite that you need to learn to serve yourself first?
You can only give others what you have. You cannot give them what you lack, right? And it goes back to the airplane analogy. It's like put on your mask first before you put it on anybody else. And in Bhakti, it talks about the importance of having strong sadhana or strong spiritual practice. And the stronger your spiritual practice, the easier it is to give other people true love, through true service, with unmotivated intentions. So you're right. It's just as important, if not more important, to be spiritually strong and spiritually motivated before you're able to serve selflessly. And you will find that the stronger your spiritual practice or the stronger your sadhana, you're able to see the world in a different way. Right.
Just thought of that one because this is a very popular philosophy as well, which is we should consume because only when we consume then we will have enough to give to others. But it's a very slippery slope because once you get so used to just serving yourself, you start having lesser and lesser motivation. As we say, so many times we say, right, the world has enough for everybody's need, but not enough for anybody's greed. So one needs to be very careful about this notion of serving yourself. There, yeah.
I think that's a really good point. I think it goes hand in hand. They're not exclusive to each other. You carry out both at the
signals coming in, so we have to be very intentional in choosing what is being helpful to me.
Yes. I mean, yeah, even making the choice to come here, right? All the signals are everything you could have done on a Saturday night, which would be like peak weekend time, right? You don't have to wake up early tomorrow. You can do anything today. But it's about
That's a great idea.
choosing the right signal. Thank you. So we will again transition in 20 seconds to our kirtans, and then we will follow the event with the best part, which is the food. So we'll be back in a couple seconds. you.